Hello geeks and ghouls, book 8 of the Cradle series, Wintersteel, is probably the best in the series yet, and the longest, because we get into the Uncrowned tournament. We're in the final phase where only 15 contestants are left. Yes, spoilers, there will be spoilers in this review, alright? Lyndon is out. Lyndon was disqualified by Yerin in the end of the previous book, just before monarch killing weapon was introduced as the grand prize. So as you can understand, the stakes are very high. Lyndon's homeland is in dire danger. The lives of our heroes and their families, of the Akira family, is at stake, and Lyndon cannot compete. So we have to root for the good guys: Aidan, Mercy, Yerin, and Zeal, which is one of my favorite characters in this book, save the day from the Dread cultists or the dragons. And so we see a constant attempt of our secondary characters to level up, and they try to do that in different ways, while Lyndon, who is disqualified, has to go and he gets the attention of Northstrider, the monarch who is the ruler of crowned championship, and is he notices that he has dross. He is the creator of dross, and he is intrigued by that, and also he's intrigued by Lyndon's ghost arm that allows him to use hunger madra and absorb various madra coming towards him. And since he is a monarch on a path of hunger, he teaches him how to accumulate the power he draws in. So that means that as long as Lyndon is able to go and be in the fight with powerful opponents, he can drain them and get more madra and advance quicker. So he's in a battlefield. There is one of the dread gods, the Wandering Titan, about to rise, and his cultists have accumulated around him, and there is an Akira force fighting them, led by Akira Fury. So he has to go there and fight the dread cultists in order to draw their powers and advance to Overlord. Meanwhile, Yerin has to deal with her shadow, and she's guided by two sages, the Winter Sage, who used to be the girlfriend of her former mentor, the Sword Sage, the Sage of the Endless Swords, actually. And there is a bit of a tension between them because she sees way too much of Yerin's master into her, as well as Akira Charity, Mercy Sand, and they try to make her touch the sword icon. And the icons are fundamental forces that allows arch lords to become sages. And of course, Lyndon has learned how to become a herald by Northstrider, and Yerin is also courted by the Sage of Blood, or the Sage of Blood Faith, sorry, who wants to take her as a student because the technique she's using to clone her blood shadow is his own creation. Aidan gave her the dream tablet that showed her how to be that way. And so we have a lot of intrigue, a lot of alliances here and there, and we have a lot of time following the other characters of the party, and this works quite well because you get to see more about them, learn more about them, see their old trials, tribulations. We have a lot of plot points that were introduced earlier on come back into play, and the novel is very big, but it never lags behind. It feels very full, very tense, and as we get towards the final, it's really interesting. You have to see the constant escalation of things. I really like, again, there's a twist towards the end, as Yerin, who is on a path to become, yes, spoilers, Yerin is on a path to become a sage, even though she's an underlady or an overlady. She advances to overlady very early, and this creates a lot of strain into her. And so did Sofara, the gold dragon that is her main opponent and sort of the main antagonist in this book, along with the monarchs, the dragon, the magic beast monarch. I cannot recall their names right now. I mean, there's no way to remember any of the dragon names. and we get into her head too, Safara's head. We even learn some things about Aidan too, and we see that he's not as all-powerful as he presents himself, but at the same time, he's a force to be reckoned with, and he actually does something. Early on, he does something which I love. I like the trickster, powerhouse character that Ethan is, and the way he advances, and the manipulation of things he does throughout the tournament are really interesting. So yes, I was saying that Yerd is trying to touch the icon, but it's like her shadow who has personality of her own, and she's not that bad actually. Ruby, she gets a name Ruby, is not that bad. She actually has a softer side, and she has feelings for Lyndon. Yes, I forgot to mention that about in book 8, book 7, that the romance between Yerd and Lyndon is actually getting quite strong. At this point, they sort of seal the deal, but they have to fight separately and train and all this stuff. But yes, they're a thing now, so yeah, this is resolved, and it was quite good. It's quite tastefully done, and it does not subtract for the plot and the themes of the book, which is great. So Ruby also has feelings for Lyndon, and there's another cause for tension between them. She's trying to become a sage and tries to force the icon during the combat, but she doesn't quite make it. So she joins with her shadow, her blood shadow, and becomes a herald, even though she's an overlady. And Lyndon, who is trying to advance to Overlord, is looking for his own epiphany to make it so, because as with Underlord, Overlord is also about realizing something about where you are, and he accidentally becomes a sage. He tries to find an epiphany for how his types of Madra he's using, his Destruction, his Pure, and his Hunger Mana interact, and he actually stumbles upon the Void icon thanks to his cycling technique that Aidan taught him. It really works on his willpower. So again, some of the things that look stupid are actually somehow explained in this book, like where Lyndon finds his willpower and his tenacity. He's training it all over those books using his cycling technique that was supposed to make him get more and more Madra his core. No, it actually works on his willpower, so he managed to hit Sage before he hits Underlord in the end of the book, and the way he goes into the final fight after the tournament's done and he's steering through every uncrowd cultist is just so satisfying. And of course we have some losses and some really good humor, because he's like, Lyndon is an RPG player, okay? He is into the battlefield and there's a point system. As you complete objectives and beat up enemies, you get points for your team, and you can check the teams for prizes. So he's obsessed points, and there are some bloopers towards the end of every book, and he's like, he becomes the point sage. And I was laughing at that. So it was fun, the way he is working to advance and grinding and really taking a leadership position and getting the trust of the Akira family underlords, especially Pride, who used to be his rival of sorts. There was tension between them, but they get mutual respect. And so at the end, when he tears through all the uncrowded cultists and Safara, it's like, whoa, way to go, Lyndon. And of course, Yerin also wins the tournament. She's a herald. And so we currently follow some of the strongest people in the world. We follow an Underlord Sage, an Overlord Herald, an Archlord, because yes, Aidan actually tricked one of the monarchs to give him enough resources to become an Overlord, and he recruits Zeal and heals him because Zeal is broken after a fight with Dread Cultists. So Ethan restores him and he's now a member of the party, which is great for me because I really like Zeal in this book. and he was also quite interesting as a character in Ghostwater where he appeared, but here he is great. I love this guy because he's very stoic. He reminds me of what's the name of the half chimera, half demon, half human character from Slayers? That guy, yes. He has this aura, and what's his name? Was one of my favorite characters in Slayers. So leave a comment if you remember. I'll probably Google it because I'm here off script and just rambling. So yes, there'll be the name somewhere here. It's not Zelos. Zelos was the priest. Never mind that. Yeah. So that was fun. That was quite a lot of fun reading this book because I get my shonen anime fix out of this, and it's not just an anime fix, it's also a epic fantasy fix because we have realms in trouble and lots of characters, and actually the way everything explodes towards the end reminds me a lot of the Dresden Files because there are a lot of interesting characters, a lot of a big climactic ending and twists and turns, heroes finding strength to tear through superior position, especially the main hero getting beat up to get there. It was quite interesting, and the book starts of course with how the Salt Sage died, and it's quite interesting to see that what's happening, why he was in the Sacred Valley in the first place and was hiding underneath, and the way it's revealed, it actually raises the stakes quite higher. And of course we have the Abidan who are playing the monarchs and try to recruit people, and towards the end Fury becomes a monarch and he will ascend because there are some monarch rules who have yet to learn, but there are limits to how many monarchs there can be on Cradle, I guess. So yeah, that was it. Quite interesting, very fun book, very big but never too long, and it was very entertaining. And of course, yes, I went straight to book 9, but that's another review. Thank you for watching.